Here we are going to talk about the service-oriented architecture, or in short, we will call it SOA. In short, it's called SOA. So the SOA architecture is actually very popular in the recent 10 years. So it becomes a very popular and also very common form of organizing and also developing a certain system. Some from time to time you will hear the government agencies when they are requiring setting out some requirements for creating a government system. They will say that one of the requirements is for the you can say for some companies to help them to build a system in the SOA architecture way. So this is still right now nowadays you will still hear this term, the SOA, pretty common in recent years. So what exactly is the SOA, the service-oriented architecture? So as we can see earlier, we talked about the web services, that the resources in the web services are can be easily, you can say, shared or reused by multiple clients. Then in this case, that also means that if for a system there are multiple functionalities, then each of the functionality can be, you can say, maintained or provided by one service, and then that system can use the service API to like you can say integrate or communicate between different services. Then in this case, together in total, they can form a new or a complete system. So basically, this SOA architecture is a term to describe this type of design. So as you can see, the SOA architecture is a design pattern for multi-component system. So this multi-component means that each of the system may have multiple components, and each of the components is by using a web service and to provide you can say the communication protocol and to integrate with other services. So each component provides a service to other components and via the communication protocol, which is the API for that service. And each service is a self-contained unit. It provides a set of operations. For example, a system may need different functionalities. Let's just say, for example, a system may need to have a user management and login, logout component. It may also need a data management component. It may also need, you can say, map rendering components or query database or you can say data processing component. So each component provides just a specific set of operations, and and individually it's a self-contained unit, which means that if right now you want to collect or retrieve some of the user information, then you just need to go to the web service managing the user information, and that service is by itself is what you can say a complete service. And if right now you want to query some data, then maybe you can go to the service managing the data. And then in this case, that service is also one self-contained service provides those functionality. And then the third point of here, it means that the SOA services, those services are linked together to complete a system to become the necessary components to that system. And so all the communication between those services are through the web service application programming interface. So then here is a quote from one of the open standard, you can say, organization, which is called Oasis, and they describe the SOA architecture in this way. This is, you can say, a brief quote from them. They call the SOA, the service-oriented architecture, as a paradigm for organizing and utilizing distributed capabilities that provides a uniform means to offer, discover, interact with, and use capabilities to provide desired effects. So that means, so I highlight some of the keywords over here. So the first keyword over here means that the SOA architecture is a distributed, you can say, kind of like the distributed system, and the components are you can say, exist individually, or also independently, and then you need a uniform way to integrate them together, so that in total they can provide the desired functionality for the users. So here is a very, very brief, you can say, a general high-level architecture for the web services. In terms of the ecosystem of the web services, we will have the one role, which is the service consumer, and the other role is the service provider. And so in terms of the web service, if you just directly consider these two roles, then their interaction are pretty simple, which is the service consumers, they will utilize the resources or the functionalities provided by the services. But however, if the system require the functionality from the web services created by other people, or you can say the third-party web services, then in this case, one of the critical issue for the service consumer or service or the system developer, one of the critical issue for them is to find out where are those services. And how do they know from the vast amount of web services on the web, what exactly are the services provides the necessary information that this system requires? So in this case, one of the another possible role inside this ecosystem is what we call the registry. The registry actually provides the functionality for the services or for the service providers to register their service to this registry, and the information that being registered to this registry are, for example, what are the resources. It needs to describe what are the functionalities or what are the resources provided by each of the service. For example, this service provides, you can say, air quality data, and this service provides the, you can say, the spatial and temporal interpolation of the census station data. So what are the functionalities? What are the resources provided by each of the services? They need to be proactively registered by the service provider to the registry, so that the registry will have a list of the services and also their, you can say, metadata or their functionalities. And after that, the service consumer or developer, system developer, when they have their own requirements, they have the required functionality to utilize, or they have the required resource to utilize. Then, but however, if they don't know where to get or where to find those services, then one way that they can do is they can go to the registry and to discover the potential service that fit their use or fit with their requirements. So the service consumer, they may go to the registry to discover those services, and after that, after confirming those services fit their requirements, then the service consumer will directly use the services provided by those service providers. So this is, you can say, in this ecosystem, in this type of like current ecosystem, it's usually kind of like this. Again, let me clarify. So this ecosystem is kind of like if the system that you are going to build is not entirely built by yourself. So which means that not all the services are built by yourself. Of course, you can build all the services by yourself and integrate them together to become a system. But however, for the large amount of resources online, then you may also, from time to time, you may also need or also try to utilize the potential of those resources on the web. Then in this case, the discovery of those resources that fits your use becomes a critical issue. So how to find those available services and how to understand their capabilities is one big issue. And the current way to solve this problem is by using a certain component which is called registry, serving as you can say a catalog for the developers to find the suitable services to use. And this is especially common in the geospatial domain. So there's another term which is called the spatial data infrastructure, the SDI, the spatial data infrastructure. The role for the SDI is the registry that we are talking about over here. So some geospatial data service they will be registered to the service to the spatial data infrastructure, and the service consumer or programmer they will go to the SDI to look for those data and then finally directly utilize those information. So, like I said, this is currently still nowadays is the most common way for people to find the data and utilize the data in this web service. You can say ecosystem high level view.